Hello, Ecegül. You have applied us from University of Paris to learn psychotherapy because you are studying psychology in the University of Paris and you're interested in developing your skills in psychotherapy. So you've been with us since last October. It's almost a year now. About 8 9 months. I want to hear what you learned from us, and what else do you expect to learn from us? Because a lot of psychology students in the world who speak fluent English may be interested in coming to us and having the same experience or similar experiences and enrichment that you have had.
Well, first of all, more concretely, I learned how to develop and practice a writing therapy, a group therapy, because before in my classes we never talked about group therapies. Even though I had heard about them before, I never experienced any of them. So, first of all, it was the experience that nourished my psychoanalytical skills in the first place. Secondly, again, concretely, I learned how to practice a psychotherapy program that is full with different practices, like different exercises, and I think it could be a tool that I can start using from now, even though I don't practice as a psychotherapist. Right now, I can use it. For example, if a friend or a relative or somebody that I knew has a problem, and if he wants to talk with me, and this happens in Turkey, when you say that you're a psychology student, people just come up to you and talk and talk. Right now, I am not only the listener, but I have a concrete tool that I can offer in exchange of money, perhaps, I don't know. But at least I learned this ability, this program that could help me in the future as well. From the second aspect, I would consider that I again understood how psychotherapy was a practice, and theoretically there are many details that I learned from school, but the practical details that I learned from you, I could learn them in nowhere else, I think, because you always honestly shared to me every problem that you had when you launched this Right for Wellness therapy, and that helped me to understand what is going on the background of a psychotherapy program. And from a more personal perspective, I come from France. Like, I learned all the psychotherapy stuff that I learned in France, and that means I learned psychotherapy from a more psychodynamic perspective, and everything was centered in psychoanalysis. So when I came to Soulscience School, you too are a psychoanalyst in an aspect, but I learned that with a psychoanalytical background, there could be different applications that could depend on the customer or the patient that is applying to you. So thank you for all this. I definitely have a broader perspective on psychotherapy and different practices right now. Thank you.
And what else do you want to learn from us?
Well, um, a supervision could be good, I think, because I admire the way that you are treating your groups and individuals. So I would love to learn a little bit more on the theoretical side and discuss with you about what is going on, for example, from the archetypical point of view. That could be interesting, but that is just my point of view. I don't think that every psychology student could be interested in archetypical stories or aspects of psychotherapy, but that is my interest. Since you're a psychiatrist, I think, for example, Turkish students could be interested in what you're going to tell them about the medical point of view of psychoanalysis, because in France, clinical psychologists are they have the permission to assign some medical treatments, but in Turkey they have none of these permissions. So I don't believe that in Turkey they learn the human anatomy as much as we do. So I think students from Turkey who study in English might profit from this therapy and you from this perspective also.
So in psychology faculties, what is the percentage of the students that are interested in psychotherapy, in learning and applying, practicing psychotherapy?
That is a good question. Because once I saw a statistical information that suggested that half of the students who apply for psychology degree in university want to continue with clinical psychology on the master's level. And that means from an aspect that they should learn or they want to learn psychotherapy. But I am not sure if they are focused on the subject of psychotherapy like you do. But I think every student who has heard of Freud or who was interested in philosophy at some aspect should or could be interested in psychotherapy. And that's my interpretation, but I think every psychotherapist is an applied philosophist or something like that.
I've been hearing that in some of the psychology departments, the students are more interested in working with robots and computers and these kind of things, researches through these kind of technologies. So the human interaction and relationship is not as valued as we value in Soulscience School, because our tool to heal is the human interaction, and the problem is to start and continue a relationship with the person whom you want to help. So we don't use robots or computer programs. We only use our own soul and knowledge.
That's true. You don't even have a formula. You kind of go with the flow and listen to the other person. You perceive of their needs and then respond. You don't have a single broad formula that you apply to everyone. And I can sense that. I can feel that. And I think a person who truly wants to become a psychotherapist would be interested in this point of view. That's why we read all those Freuds or whom else, Doğan Cüceloğlu's or anything, because they teach us how to look from this more humane point of view, and you're a living example of this humane point of view. So I think people would be interested.
Thank you, Ecegül.
Thank you.